put my pants on. Hold on a sec.
Fucking. Okay. We'll try again.
Into Fury now as they will start to prep their rotate in towards the zone.
I wanna be forever young.
Why is there a Skype thing?
I like it.
That tilts me so
I'm
bad.
as fresh as a,
Dude, they could hear
a
us.
penguin that just got pounded by a killer whale.
What?
What?
All right. So
Is that Avenger?
it was. A penguin that got pounded by a killer whale.
Was that
Quote,
in PGI
quote of the
this
day.
week?
It was. That was one of our many clips.
Jesus.
I'm sure we've got another clip now of Flood picking his moment to say I should probably put pants on as soon as I unmute the mics. What a prank. What a prank. What is going
I
on?
had pants on the whole time.
Oh my god. He saw it coming. He knew. Welcome everyone to the third episode of PGIS at Down Under. Hello to all of our English-speaking fans, and of course, Sawadee Krap to all of our Thai-speaking fans.
Oh,
I know
he's been practicing. that for
inside,
sure.
you've been practicing. I know you have. So, should we give you a little test as we run through the intros?
No.
Yes.
I do
let's
now,
do,
yeah.
let's do it
Keen.
right now.
I
So,
would love to hear it.
so for any
Yeah, I'm
Thai
ready.
speakers in chat, we can all agree, this man, absolutely Aroy Jing Jing. That is insight. You don't know what
What
that
is
means.
that?
Don't worry about it.
No.
Don't worry, it's a compliment.
I
Don't worry. I've got
all I know
Thai
is how to
compliments
say
for all
hello.
of you. Don't you worry
Hello.
about it. If you want to go and Google Translate them later, or just trust me that they're compliments. Because Ronan, you are gonna have to trust me because yours sounds like it's not. But this man, he's very kringjang, and it is of course
Cringe.
Ronan. It's not. It's not. It sounds like it, but it's not. I promise. I swear to God, it is not. It's
You're
not.
cringe, Ronan.
Why Kikamukau, the man who is Taluk Mark. See?
Hella
Oh my
smack, that's what I heard.
Yeah,
Hella
sounds like
smack.
that.
Means good looking.
And of course, Luknarak Mak over there.
That
is
sounds
Flood.
Russian.
It's
That's a
Flood.
lot
Flood.
of words.
It is. It is.
That was that sounded
It
like
is.
you nailed that. Like I don't even know what you're trying to say, but it sounded like
Look,
you nailed it.
If I balls it up, I'm blaming Google Translate because the way I've got it written down is the way that it sounds like it says. It said.
Oh, that's
I
the
don't. I haven't written down the word. I've written it phonetically, and that is the way to go forwards with these kind of things. But speaking
I
of moving
see.
forwards, we've got PGIS to talk about.
Unexpected.
Yeah. Wow, it's crazy how we have a podcast called PGIS Down Under, and those are the kind of things that we talk about. And to start things off, well, we've got weekly finals from week number 2, which need to be covered and discussed. Let's have a quick look at how things ended off at the end of last week's games. Have any comments on the way that this ended, Cal? Go ahead.
There was hope for our brew picks. I feel like everybody deep in our hearts had brew pretty like lined up. And I think like it was like I don't know if it was like going into like the third last game or the fourth last game, like it was like really tight still, and like Brew were sitting
Yeah.
in fifth there for a little while, or fourth even potentially. It was looking like really, really good, but unfortunately they couldn't pull through. That's who I picked to win last week. But I think it was really cool to see them play really well. Day Trade, obviously, the other Thai team, played phenomenally well, which was really good to see. And Ents was probably the other surprise factor. Outside of that, pretty standard. I think that leaderboard reflects like how the first stint of the tournament's been going.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Brew were actually second going into the
It was
second
game
day.
8, game 9, something like that. They were
Yeah,
definitely all the way up there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And
In
then
the
just,
end,
like the last few games, they didn't do too hot. Like
Yeah.
pretty much no points in the last few games.
4am did manage to close things out solidly and round it out with their first win. So that's a big chunk of change that they managed to take home from that. One team that definitely sort of, I'm not going to say they necessarily performed too well or too poorly, but they definitely had a variety in their performance. Oath, if you compared their like day 1 to day 2, they had something like 6 points on day 1 and then 38
Yeah.
on day 2. Whereas if they got 38 on day 1 as well, they're tied for second. Like, they showed that they definitely have that potential peak they just weren't quite consistent on the first day. But on the second day, when a couple of teams may have pissed them off, bridge camping, then they definitely showed that they're able to scrap back and forth with it.
It's the same as like week 1, right? As well, like I think it was the last game last game. Oath got they smashed it and they had heaps of kills because they seemed like they didn't care. So I don't know if that's more something that they led into after having a really shocking first day. Going to the second, they were just kind of like, oh, we're, sitting pretty in last. Let's maybe, I don't know, just do some crazier shit and see how it goes.
That's a good strat.
Yeah,
it's working for them.
And another team that Cal you brought up was Ents as well. They had a pretty solid performance. They were a team that, based on their week 1, some people were sort of. It was pretty similar to DA in the way that they'd played really well in the weekly survival, but weren't able to close out a win, so it didn't actually end up qualifying. But now that they've shown that they're definitely like up there in the standings. And 7th, 5th, and 7th has been their placings across PCS 1, 2, and 3 in EU. But when it comes to international, they've definitely been looking pretty sharp. So, Flood, if you may have noticed this clip where they closed out a 3 versus 4 against TSG, have you got any comments on what Ents is doing well here?
Yes. I really remember this clip.
Yeah,
I
bet you do.
I think they played it very well.
Lovely job.
Let me
It's like
let me get
Squeaky's interview. We got Fed Circle. Very good.
Yep.
I think it was pretty. Just from what I'm looking at, it looks like they just hit their shots and had a good crossfire. They just played it well.
That's really what it comes down to, right? Just playing it well.
Yeah.
Overall, it's just what's going to win you games. Doesn't matter if you're a man down, if you just hit your shots.
Yeah, they
That's
played
a
off
lot
each
of
other quite well.
1v1s.
TSG
Yeah.
had a very bad setup there, in my opinion. Like, they just couldn't trade each other.
Yeah, they were like
Even-
different heights and couldn't trade. I was pretty impressed. They still like take advantage of the enemy's mistakes. It's still good though. I respect that.
Yeah, it definitely is. And sometimes there's a conversation, we don't hear it so much in PUBG, but you do it in other games, is this idea of like forced mistakes versus unforced mistakes. So it's like, you can say that there's a forced mistake, which is something that you're putting pressure on an enemy, they slip up and you capitalize. Whereas an unforced mistake is like, if someone's crashing a compound and runs over 2 of their teammates, oath, something like that. But one example that stood out to me with that is a sort of a forced mistake that could have potentially had big implications overall in the standings based on the teams involved and when it happened. Was this cheeky little play from our big man of Burram. And this was at the point where they're in second and 4AM is in first, and he gets away with this. Hiding behind the car, he swaps over to the US in front of him.
Oh my god.
How cheeky is
That's
that?
so cool, bro.
And he gets away with that.
What
imagine
other
how
team
mad
would
you'd
do
be.
that, man?
So
Who
cheap.
does that?
So
That's such
cheeky.
an SEA. Such an SEA play.
I mean, is there ever time to call someone a rat? That might be it.
That's pretty.
That's pretty
insane.
funny though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I'd be so mad.
I think it's like doubled by the fact that he hit that spray. Like that was a soft top. Like that's not hard. Like that's not easy. To, like shoot through the back of like a soft top US as well. Like to get it. Like he could have easily whiffed that, and it would have been like, oh shit, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah, well, he
But
did his
it's
best, but
Needy.
in the end, that was in game 8 as well of the final, so that was at the point where even taking a player away from 4AM could have cost them big and given Burram a chance to really climb back up, but wasn't quite to be. In the end, 4AM did take it out with first place, Infantry in second again, which we will cover slightly those teams in a short while, as you know what, first and second place not in this week's finals, but we'll get on to that. First of all, we have the bottom 16, the other half of the finals, the ranking decision, the teams who didn't make it into the finals and their qualification, their playoff between themselves to find out their seedings. Let's have a look at how things ended up in this little scrap back and forth between these teams. So first of all, Metagaming up at the top. They were a team that a lot of people sort of had their eyes on purely based on some of the names that are on that team. So having Wicked join, Sparking has been absolutely popping off in like the pre-PGI scrims. Everyone was looking at Meta to be a team to watch, and then they kind of fell short. But now it's good to see them back on top, at least of the bottom, and doing some bits.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't watch any of the bottom 16 games. It's like I think if I watched that much PUBG in a week, I'd probably go insane. But
It's like 3 a.m. that it starts for me, so I don't also watch that much. I just
It's
listen
like
for clips.
the thing that we can comment on is obviously like Sonics and TSM not qualling. Like in coming second and fourth, they had lots, not 16, obviously 16 opportunities, but they had still a lot of opportunities to qualify. And those two teams, you'd
Yep.
almost always like back behind to qual. And I think I don't know if there's, obviously a lot of this week was, about getting fed. I don't know if they necessarily threw any games that, but they got good circle favor, but it's still very interesting to not see those teams call. And again, like Kia finishing like bottom 4, like in these ones and not getting many opportunities, and again not qualifying for the weekly final. They need to give themselves those opportunities to have, big games, which we know they're capable of, but they're not.
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's
it goes to show like how hard it is already to qual. Seeing like teams like TSM and Sonics not qualling, and then if you get like 13th, it's gonna be so hard to get in from there.
Yeah.
definitely. But
Hats off to Divine who did it. Like, in 5
Yeah, true.
games. I think they did it on their 5th game or something. 4th game, maybe?
they did.
I
Was
know
the
they did in
second
the
to
second.
last
It was
game.
the second
Yeah.
last game.
So fourth or
I
fifth.
assume it's like
somewhere
4th
around
or
that.
5th, yeah.
So yeah, pretty good. But overall,
So
if
that's pretty good.
with the exception of like obviously a couple of outliers, obviously TSM, Sonics, and Demon Kia being the big ones, do you think that overall, compared to sort of the pre-PGI expectations of how teams would perform, to me this looks about what I would expect the bottom 16 to look like? Particularly towards the bottom end where you've got the Japanese representatives down there. They've never really performed that well internationally. And they definitely have had their highlight moments, like Detonation Gaming White was top end of the bottom 16 last week and then didn't qualify, and now they're the bottom end, so they don't get a chance this week. So, but overall, I think things, obviously, again, with some big exceptions, one of which is, of course, Damwon Kia, who just continually fall short. I mean, with a team that they go back for a while and have had a lot of success in Asia for a couple of years, even back when there was 2 OG and Entis teams, not just the one. And now I'm looking through, like I said, I've not had much of a chance to watch all the games this week, particularly the bottom 16, but the only clip that I can find of them is one that's like, is Kia trolling? Like, are they throwing? What are they doing? It's just crazy that there's no highlight clips of them, that it's just always them getting demolished.
Yeah. Especially if you're in the back of a buggy. Like, doing that in a buggy is just like, I mean, if that guy had more ammo, like, that guy could have died there as well. The guys doing it on the buggy, like, is, like, risky as hell.
I don't know.
That's a bit unfortunate. They've got a team rotating right next to them. One had to win, one had to lose, and I think the fact that guy had a buggy, like, makes that quite tricky. Versus the guy who had the hardtop US.
There's definitely something that's not adding up, though, for Kia. So, I don't know. Do you have any suggestions, things that they could change to sort of fix it up and get back into that form? Ronan, do you have any ideas?
Play better.
That's the best idea.
Don't drive right next to someone. He probably didn't even realize it was a different team, to be honest.
Playing with the
Ronan.
audio.
It did look like it. Yeah.
No.
Also, don't press F. That's also a bad mistake.
True. Well, Ronan, with wise words like that, just play better. I think you've got it in you to be a mentor, to be a coach for a team potentially. And thankfully, though, Fury, you don't need to worry about that. We already have our own coach, our lovely Mr. Viking, and he's been kind enough to put together another little clip for us to have a look at some of those juicy stats. Let's have a quick look at what he's prepared for us this week.
Get pumped, Ronan.
Welcome back to this week's Weekly Wacky Wisdom with Viking. We're going to be taking a look at some of the stats and some of the things you might have not noticed going throughout this week's games. Taking a look at some of the heals here, we can see that attack all around, more like getting attacked from all around, is leading the pack by far this week with most heals. This is of course using first aids, bandages and all these things that will be used as a healing, not a boost, a healing. Going straight into the next one is the most damage taken, and as we can see again, getting attacked all around is really good at getting attacked from all around, and they all 4 have the most damage taken. And then 5th place we have Silson. Stilson, I don't know what you're doing, but you're sticking your head up a lot. And now on to a clip here, a clip from 2018 from a team called Oh My God. Some of you guys in chat might be able to remember these guys. This is from the Pubg Global Invitational 2018, and you guys should know what I'm referring to by showing you guys this clip here. We're of course going to be talking about the Zenith win that we had on day 2 this week here, and that's mind-blowing. 22 kills, 32 points in total. Also Kickstart making a world record in international or global events with most kills per player with the total of 11. So far this event we've had 3 players having 9 kills each. That will be T1 Adder, Ens Diggory, and 4am Forever. And with a second place in the world right now, rankings, we have Pero Mamu at a total 10 kills. And of course, Zenith Kickstart with a total of 11, which is the new world record. Anyways, that will be it for this week. Of course, my weekly prediction. I mean, who else than STK, man? It's a fucking staple by now. I can't choose anybody else. So STK, hope you do well. Zenith as well. I got a coupon on you guys too. So I'll see you guys next week, and bye bye. Kisses on the cheeks.
Somebody get that man away from my cheeks right now.
That was the best one he's done. Bravo. Well done, Mike.
That was good. I like
Yeah.
That was good.
Good job, Lance.
That's
Tell you
cool.
what, that's actually a really interesting stat about AAA though. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
how
so
do you
too.
even
because
do that?
it's
That's
because they
impressive.
blue tank, by the way. That's why they've got that stat.
Oh, is it?
They
Oh,
blue
they
tank
were in there
nearly
for quite a
every
while.
Every single game they're like in the blue doing a wrap on like literally phase
Damn.
1.
It's like every single one of them above 4,000. That's like across the course of 10 games, they should have died 4 times. The amount that they've healed. That's
Oh shit! Yeah,
that is
didn't
pretty
even
wild.
realize.
And you
Do-
know,
Do you
Go ahead.
reckon that's like attributing to like some of the problems they're having as well? Like if they're just sitting in the blue and then coming in when like there's no spots left? Because they're not
think-
performing very well. But I wasn't like expecting them to.
I think they're trying out like a new style because they've never played like that in APAC, obviously.
Yeah.
So they're obviously like trying to like adapt to the survival meta.
Maybe
I
they
actually-
should
they
try
didn't-
that 6-2-2 that VP do.
Oh, the either side of the map.
Novo Zaki.
Yeah.
Cringe.
I feel like AAA are always alive at the end, but I don't think they can really do much because they're in like a shit
No
spot.
meds.
Yeah, and
All
they're
their
also
meds are
like,
gone.
they never have any control because they just like send it in from the blue.
you know, that's definitely one way to try and approach the weekly survival series. But the other way that a lot of the teams have really been committing to, and you touched on this before, you know what? I'll leave it to the wise words of our favorite Finnish man.
How'd you guys able to get the chicken? We managed to win this game because we sent to the middle compound and we were hoping to get the circle and we get the circle and we win game. Very good.
Like, what else? What else do you need to do?
I love
good.
that.
Good
Very
farm by
good so
Insight,
far.
by the way. Great
Yep.
farm by Insight
I'm on
on
it.
Twitter
As
impressions.
soon as
Yeah.
I saw that clip, bro, I'm like, I'm posting that, and everyone's gonna love that shit.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah,
it was
that's
it was
awesome.
great. It's a solid clip, and it really sums up the way that like most of these games have been going. Is people are complaining
yeah.
about.
More and more.
I mean, I've even seen Mr.
It's
Y kick a moo
fucking-
cow saying, you know, week 1 and 2 was kind of fun, but now it's just compound feeds, and if your team isn't in getting hard fed by zone 3, it's like, why bother?
I swear teams are just accepting. Like that's just it. It's like, oh, we all gotta get is one of these 16. It's gonna be us guys. Like, let's not do anything, super crazy. We're just gonna get a 9-circle feed at some point, and then it's just like, I don't know. It's just fucking a snooze fest sometimes. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes like this Zenith one, for example, was hard fought, hard earned. But you have ones like the Oath, the SDK. Oh, SDK, I mean, they had people in their compound with them, but again, they didn't have to move very much. It's just, teams that are capable, of qualifying, taking those 9-circle feeds, it's just like, I don't know. It's just, it is what it is. Sometimes you get fed. At least there wasn't much throwing of those 9-circle feeds, I don't think. This week at the very least.
Well, Jesse seems busy bullying Monty in the chat, so we'll hand this one over to Flood because he looks really really into it. So
I'm looking at my screen. I promise.
let's take a quick glance at the standings overall. This is the teams that qualified for this week's weekly finals, right? So this is in the order that they qualified. So game 1, Gen G, game 2, Liquid, game 3, Day Trade. Is there anything else really on here that sort of surprises you, catches your eye of the teams that we're going to be seeing in the weekly finals this week?
Not really. It actually looks like pretty standard, to be honest.
How many
Yeah.
games did MCG play? Weren't they like? Did they only play a few games?
They made it last week, didn't they? MCG didn't. My mum voted for them last week.
Yeah.
So they were definitely in the. They got 16.
They were in
I
from the
must be
start.
thinking I remember thinking of GX.
Good job, mum. One
Yeah, no,
huge
it looks pretty
standout.
standard though. What do you reckon? Which one?
I
Not
was
like the
just
wildcard
saying
regions
is
made it
the
this week.
minor regions. No minor regions made it. I shouldn't say
no,
minor. Sorry.
Not,
I shouldn't
wait,
say
which is
minor.
worse,
That's
wildcard
bad.
or minor?
No, minor's way worse.
Imagine being called a minor region by OCE. Jesus.
That's true.
We're one of them.
True.
We
we're not
know
worse.
it.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah,
True.
we're
We don't
squeezing even
exist.
harder.
We're like India. We don't exist.
No, that's not bad. But yeah, no, overall, like you say, it's not too bad. Notable exceptions again that we haven't seen. No infantry, which is really kind of a surprise, as they've been one of the more consistent, not only in qualifying but top 3, top 2 over weeks 1 and 2, and they didn't make it in. Of course, the DA 4am saga, hey, that's me, continues on, and I don't know. It's so, I can't even say it's polarizing anymore because everyone just thinks it's stupid. Do you think, Ronan? I know you had
It's
an
so
opinion on
stupid.
this.
It is.
Yeah, I think they should get dropped by the bloody org. It's pathetic.
I'm still tweet.
Oh,
I just
Covey
don't
owns
get
his org,
the.
so he's not getting dropped.
Yeah, not 4am.
No.
I don't care about 4am won
Yeah.
last week. They got all the bragging rights. DA deserves to
True.
be disbanded by PUBG.
Okay, but what if we come at it from a different angle, right? What if DA is the hear me out. What if DA is the protagonists and we're all just living in their big anime world, right? So like I don't care for anime myself, but listen, right? What if 4am is this big ancient beast that keeps threatening villages, and the only reason that village hasn't been destroyed is because DA is fighting it and then is like absorbing most of its power, right? And then everyone's like, "Oh, why are you getting your ass beat by this whack beast? We can kill it so easily." And then DA's like, "Right, fine. Week 2, I'll leave you to handle it by yourself. I'll just stay, but I'll stay out of it. You guys have fun." 4am comes in, wins the whole week, and everyone's like, "Shit, DA, we need you back, please." And DA's like, "Ah, I knew you'd come crawling back," and now neither of them have qualified. So now someone else, like, come on, someone needs to write that.
Are you saying that there's
problem-
collusion going on? Is that what you?
No, I'm just
DA
saying. I'm just saying that somewhere in Korea, someone is definitely writing an anime about the redemption arc of DA.
The problem is that compound belongs to school apps, and I'll say it.
There's no
They're
way.
invading their village.
I am
Yeah.
so surprised when everyone has just been like, no one's joined the lobby halfway through and been like, you know what, everyone's taken, let's just learn apps. Like,
Yeah,
that's it.
true.
just
do
take
not.
it.
Because then I remember they won the contest one time, and they all just run in the open to apps.
Yeah, they
I remember-
just
Like,
runs
imagine
away.
if you're just
T-
sitting there and you just farm it.
TSM
Didn't
sent one
TSM
to
do it in the
Rex.
ranked decision?
I'm not
Like
sure.
I remember they remember 4am won the fight, and then they started running back for the hard spawns, and then they just like one of TSM from apps like actually killed one of the 4am guys running
Oh
back.
yeah. I guess it doesn't.
that was like in the
the
ranked
kill
decision. though.
points don't matter in the survival, so
Yeah,
they don't bother.
can wipe out a team next to you at the very least, but I mean it's
And you're
risky
dead
still.
center, and you know the two teams that are close to you are fighting, so they're going to be late. I think there's plenty of good reason to land Roz.
Yeah, well, I mean,
If you've got a rough spot.
the good reasons to land Roz has definitely been picked up. As Shoot to Kill have claimed that spot for the finals. They said, you know what, neither of those teams are there. We're just gonna take it. We're gonna take that drop spot for ourselves. So they're gonna be dropping there, and it'll be a bit of a change up, but it's definitely a solid place to head towards. And it also cuts out any sort of possibility of teams that might particularly want in a way to target you, almost like, for example, Oath getting targeted by infantry, which they don't have to worry about. So this,
You guys will be competing a lot of different teams during the weekly finals. Is there some kind of phrase that you want to say to the other teams?
Look out, infantry. Don't bridge camp.
Infantry.
don't worry about it. They're not in the lobby. Like, there's no one there to bridge camp you. You don't have to worry about it. So Oath again could be another. Like, we could see a day 2 Oath on day 1 on both days, and it could definitely be another team to look out for. Like, NA has, even without Sonics, they have a lot of strong representation in the finals this week, and that's gonna be something to keep an eye on.
I think this is like one of the most important weeks coming, like the weekly finals coming up, to like score yourself some bank if your rival like isn't there, or if you can't take advantage of the lobby, do that, because we're about to, well, this is it. We go back to a full ranked decision, don't we? Like after the halfway mark, I'm pretty confident we do a full ranked decision thing again. And we go all 32 get put into a pool. Am I wrong about that?
I have no idea. That would make sense, and I'd hope so.
Pretty sure it's a
I don't
full
know,
reset.
I'll tell you what I do want to say. This is the biggest tournament that you don't want to make enemies. All these teams are making enemies. They need to take a page out of Cow's book and just start tugging on some udders. Like you don't want someone that's just gonna. You don't want someone in 16th place and you're in 2nd place and they're gonna be like, "Fuck it, those guys camped us that game. Let's go push them."
That's true. Because
Suck
it's pretty brutal with the prize pool placings only being top 4. So yeah, if you do get targeted, you could definitely be held out of those key money positions. And I don't know whether you could call this targeted, but this next clip is definitely a couple of teams who we might have been expected to be competing for those key money positions, and unfortunately weren't. And it is, of course, a battle of the Americas. I don't know if you've seen this clip, but this was... I was debating whether to put this in the fails at the end, I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like I've seen this before.
This was pretty shocking by Sonics. Like, mine had 3 mollies. You just see that. They definitely trolled a bit.
See, the worst part is...
Maybe they just want to get in there.
He just threw one.
Yeah.
Tosses this
Maybe
molly.
they don't want to molly the shark because they're out in the open.
Yeah, and they want to get into it.
So they just want to
But
run
the worst
in.
part is he just died. He stopped a heal next to a buggy that blew up, and he killed him. So both teams are gone.
I'll tell you what was real bloody cringe. That was at the very last game where Sonic's, I can't remember who it was, but they were fighting infantry, and he goes for a 1v3 through the smokes, and he had 3 mollies left.
Oh yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, he still had 3 mollies left, and he knew exactly
was
where they
literally
were.
yelling, "Use your mollies!"
That was cringe.
Oh man, but yeah, there's definitely some questionable stuff coming out from some of the teams. But I mean, one thing that you can't question is landing those shots. And there's one player in particular that certainly did a lot of that. And you know what? I'm gonna say at the start of this clip, I'm sure you've probably seen this game in particular. 8C's got 31 bullets in his mag at the start of this. Peeks over, takes down 3. If he had 9 more bullets, he gets the squad wipe.
Yeah.
The funny thing about it, that reminds me of that. Do you guys remember my bridge camp clip where everyone's like 1 HP? Like, no one actually looked at it, but AT only needed to hit 1 bullet on 3 of those targets. Like, it was a good clip, but like, I mean,
had the stats.
1 bullet ain't much. Like, 1 bullet per person. You can
Talent
hit their
flood,
baby
rip
toe.
him.
Mate, you can hit your baby toe and they'd be dead.
Oh.
Like,
That's a leak of what's up next.
Oh no!
Don't you worry.
oh no.
Don't worry. So
Let's play it. I kind of want to hear it.
my idea was we're just gonna skip the rest of that because we know how that game ended. So let's head on
Pretty
over.
lost, I remember. I was very sad.
Yeah, with a
Bruce,
DBS,
shut
with a
up.
DBS of all things. Anyway, here he is.
Toby here, one of the PGIS commentators, and one of the things that I think are the most, I guess you can say, surprising coming into the weekly finals is that we won't be seeing infantry from China or 4AM. Infantry had a really good week, 3 second places and 3 third places in the weekly survival, and still failed to make the finals. I think not having those 2 teams is probably going to be one of the biggest upsets coming into the weekly finals, and we'll see how other teams play accordingly.
I've had some, I've had some fun in Premier this week. I'm not gonna lie. But so as you say, it brought up 2 of the big teams, the 1st and 2nd place from last week, not qualifying, and that really does leave the door open for a lot of teams to have some solid placements. It's like you said, this week's weekly finals is going to be a very big one. But just before we move on to the next bit, which will be our predictions for the finals, I actually did have a question from Marmalade Ham on Reddit, who asked me to ask you what you feel like teams who typically go for like kill heavy points gathering systems rather than placement heavy, which, you know, I think it's fair to say that you as a team do favor that. You know, you didn't win 5 out of 8 games in PCS2, but you still almost won. But, you know, for the teams that do typically go more for those kill point favoring styles, what exactly do they need to change to sort of fit in with this weekly survival style? Because a lot of them are still struggling.
I think that those teams are the ones I've seen struggle with closing out the games. Like, they're in a really good position, and then they'll do like a mega throw or something. Like, I saw Pero, I think it was the game the SDK one. They had like over 15 kills.
Game, yeah.
And then they all just like drove down and like all died.
To shit spots.
Yeah.
It's almost like they get like overconfident towards the end of the game. Like they've all got a few kills. They're starting to like, you know, get hyped. They're feeling it, and then they just start doing individually stupid things and getting picked off one by one. Like if they just slowed down and like played it safe, like they probably win that game easily.
Yeah. I think there's gonna be the fine balance, because at the same time, going for kills, if you've got the position to do so, you're clearing out your side of the circle a bit more, and you're also gaining information on who's around you. If you're gaining information on who's around you, when you see them in the later stages, that can be a lot more, you know, useful. Oh, we've killed one of them previously. They're in a fight right now. Let's go to that weakened side of the zone, or whatever it may be. But in saying that there's always a risk involved with going for your earlier kills. But I still think you can still be very kill heavy and have a lot of success in the weekly survival. But I don't know, maybe just teams aren't finding their rhythm for it.
Yeah, I almost feel like they could take advantage of a lot of what the other teams are doing in the survival weeks. Like, all these teams are sending at center, so then they should take all the control and they should just play it like a normal game. Like, I swear some of these teams, like, they always win a game in 16 games, but because like they're changing their playstyle too much, maybe they're struggling. Where if they just played normally, maybe they'd be fine.
They should play their own for sure.
It is a bit awkward sometimes though, because I mean the zone shifts that we're seeing are just continually brutal for so many teams. We've seen some really, really whack stuff, but you know what? Above all, it comes down to who can adapt, find the position, and play better. And in the weekly finals, kill-heavy teams can definitely shine as well as teams who are playing more so for the placement side of things. So let's just get right on into our predictions. We've had our daily double dose of Danish in our guest clips. Now it's time for the predictions. So we will start off, and I have to remember to come out of studio mode for this, or it doesn't work, because I didn't do that last time. Insight. No brew in this time, unfortunately. No. So who have you got this week?
Yeah, I'll just go to my next favorite team, or my equally favorite team. I'll go SDK this week. Yeah, I think they're probably actually looking like one of the top 3 teams here at the tournament, which is awesome to see. So I hope they can keep up the consistency and, you know, close it out when 4 AM is in there.
It has to be their lane experience, eh? Like, over all these other teams.
Really well.
Like, they weren't looking like the hot property of this tournament leading into it at all. But, like, they've just come out, like, fucking since day one. And, like, I don't know if it's, like, the hard work they put in before that. Like, just, like, in between PCS3 and, like, this. But, like, yeah.
Yeah, they're a really long-standing roster, too. So that might help with like, being able to get over, like, mental struggles as a team.
Absolutely the case. So, Flood, who do you have this week? Because you voted SDK a couple times before. Are you still on the hype train with Jesse?
No, actually, I think I'm going to throw a random one out there. I think Liquid are looking really good. They look a bit more composed. I feel like even though they don't have Picardo and Pachinki, they do actually look a lot better, and they've kind of figured out how to play again, which is nice to see. I think Liquid, they've found their footing, so I think this week they're going to win it, I reckon.
They won it super early this time around, didn't they?
Did they get Picardo and Pachinki because Sonics didn't qual?
Probably they probably do. Well, then even better, they've practiced without it, and it's like training wheels. They're just taking the training wheels off. Did you vote for Sonics?
Well, let's find out. Ronan, did you vote for Sonics?
No.
Oh.
My two teams that I wanted to pick were taken, so I'm gonna choose Tiamba.
Tiamba.
Who are the two teams? Was it their two or?
Yeah,
don't
STK
say.
and Liquid.
Oh, thank God it wasn't mine.
Tiamba,
Copy. It's okay.
I gotta say,
I have Tiamba in my pick'ems. I think they might pop
I've
off.
never noticed how weirdly high resolution Tiamba's logo is until I had to make that. Like, that thing is weird. So what is it about
They're
Tiamba?
good. They're good, but I prefer.
All right. So just for variety's sake, we'll take Tiamba. So Cal, how varied are we getting today?
Highly varied. I'm going with the other European, powerhouses that's like started to pop off a little bit. So I'm going with Ents. I think everybody can agree that recently they've had a lot of game exposure. They've played a lot of games compared to most teams, but they've been playing really solid recently. I love their team-orientated style, and I think because a lot of the other big powerhouses like Infantry and 4AM, like Toby was saying, like the powerhouse teams, I think they will be looking like that's their playstyle, and that's the next best team that fits that playstyle.
So in short, they're good.
They're good. They're good, but
that's why.
I don't know. That's why I picked them. I picked the good team.
Why else?
Yeah.
Why would you pick anyone if they weren't good? That is the solid question. Now, you know what? It doesn't matter who you pick because you could probably go through the VOD somewhere and find a solid balls up from them. And, there's no exceptions. Whether you're in game, whether you're on the casting desk, whether you're not even a player or a talent at the tournament, whether you're just like an admin or a coach at the back, there's always a possibility that you're going to do something stupid on camera. So let's see some of the highlight clips from this week. Keep your eyes on Esther in this clip.
Oh, what? No, that's not a fail.
He got
Fences are broken.
Why would you? Oh, he just hopped out directly in front of him.
Fences are 100% broken.
I know.
That is fucked.
That's so unfortunate.
Oh, that tilts me. PUBG 2, come faster.
It's the way that he broke through two of the wooden fences and then just
he did, and then
didn't
stopped the other one. Because I'm pretty sure what happens is when you connect on the fence at the moment, at one time it'll. Oh, sorry, we're still going. I'll shut up.
just hiding under the.
Wait, how did he even get under there?
It's 1v4. I don't. It's fine. Survival. That was survival.
Okay, this one we can agree is definitely a fail.
It's certainly workable. It's certainly playable. Navi, they've just hit a team in the back on the
Look at it. Hold on.
Oh!
Look at them. Look at them. They're just throwing nades, tunnel vision. They don't notice the car crashing them from behind.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he must
He
have.
crashed into a car.
Viking! He got a 2K with the scar.
Oh my god.
It's an 80 weapon.
I don't think he was silent.
I don't think he was, but even still, you still hear him. He would have slammed on the
Yeah,
brakes.
he slammed into the car behind them as well. So that was definitely.
The funny thing is there isn't another T1, just those T1 players. So they couldn't have we thought it was a teammate because they're both there. So I was like, I don't know.
Yelling.
I'd love to know the comms after that. There's a guy behind us.
Oh boy. Well,
I reckon they'd be so confused.
You know what?
Yep.
Sometimes it's the guy behind you that you got to watch out for, and it's not always in game.
We're giving you the space to take the fight, and they were being very passive.
I've
Had
seen
it been
this.
a game for kills, they would
It's a
probably.
little high five for
They did it right.
Rubs his hair, gave him a little hair rub.
Is that an admin, by the way?
You are not allowed to touch their hair. That's not allowed.
I swear that's an admin.
I know that's
Because I haven't seen anyone on stage for the Western teams. What gives?
Good job, guys.
Good job,
Don't know what game you're playing, but good job.
I wish my
This one-
admins gave me as much support when
No,
I played.
This is an interesting one because just listen to what
I've been
Paper
in this
Thin's saying.
situation
We've heard a lot of weird stuff being said on the broadcast so far. A lot of off-topic things, but this one probably takes the cake.
It's like when you're trying to get gophers out of the ground and you stick a hose in there, turn the water on, and wait for them to come out, and then smack them with a baseball bat or something. It's quite funny to watch.
What?
Sorry, that's something my dad had me do when I was a kid.
He
I'm not
says it
kidding.
like everyone does that.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I'll do
Yeah, I
that.
was a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
fan, but
Medically traumatized.
I love just get my
well, you
baseball
can't
out
have those
hitting
gophers in your
Goku.
garden, man. They
Sort of show
See, I
up
don't mind that because that's hilarious.
Godspeed, I think a team that maybe a lot of people are surprised by, who consistently
This-
is day trade. Like I feel like these finals happen.
Wait, is he actually
and it's
asleep or?
almost like
No, his camera
Siege.
froze.
trades here because they're
Oh.
getting involved with the fight. I think Dustin might have fallen asleep, man.
Oh man.
I had a lot of fun with Premier. That's
Yeah.
That's actually great.
I think you should be posting Twitter clips.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
dude,
I
get
think
on
you should send
that.
them to me.
Where is
yeah.
PUBG?
We can sort something out. We can fix it.
PUBG need to get onto
Oh.
you. That is hilarious.
Yeah. Don't worry, Puggy. We started the day off with that. Of getting pounded by a killer whale analogy. Don't worry. We covered that one nice and early. That one was too good to be missed. But
that's funny.
okay, so we've had the past, which is our last week's weekly finals, the weekly survival, and we've looked a little bit towards the future with predictions for weekly finals this week. But sometimes you got to ask, what comes next? Like, what is the next big step? And I know that at least one of you has been sort of mulling that over a little bit in your spare time, particularly this morning. So let's real quick while we're here, let's take a look at this, and let's go through the thoughts that went through your head here, Ronan. What do you got in mind here? just
Well,
talk
actually,
us through it.
I was taking a deuce about maybe like an hour ago.
Okay.
I tweeted this, and I guess you quickly sniffed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see a full schedule. I want to know how much money's in this year. Seat swapping deserves a nerf. PUBG clearly isn't listening to player feedback because seat swapping is still a thing, and this format's a yikes. DA deserves to be dropped, and I want big orgs back.
That a little bit
Greater feedback,
counterintuitive at the end if you're getting rid of an org and then you want orgs back, or maybe you just want to
I
get rid
don't
of the players.
understand.
DA is a pretty big org in Turkey, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, pick up someone else, anyone else,
Yeah.
anyone else.
But you know what?
Or fire whoever's idea that is, get them out of the team. Because I see that I see their assistant
Yeah, their
coach tweeting.
Their coach.
I'm just like, I'm sitting there like, every little bit of flack you're copying is well deserved, and if you can't see that, I don't know why you're coaching. Like, unless they can give me a reason, where I'm like, oh, well, that actually makes sense. Because right now, me and I think most
Everybody
of the rest of the world
else,
are struggling to come up with any logical reason behind what they're doing. It's the biggest tournament to date in PUBG. Now is not the time for I want to secure my drop spots for later events or whatever it may be. No, you want to win, and currently you are getting smashed.
It's just an ego.
Yeah,
thing,
and it's not
like-
if you're
and it's a
here to
sore
ego
loser as well.
if you're here to ego a team at one of the biggest events to date in PUBG, you clearly don't know how to adapt, and you
better
need
be
to learn,
4
otherwise you
AM
don't belong
every
here.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
like,
an
I'll-
RNG
I'll-
drop too. Like it's mostly an RNG hot drop. It's like
even if it was like they were almost 4-0 every time, and maybe losing a player 1 or 2 games, it's still not worth it. Even just landing there in general, it's not worth it at all. Even if you land there 4-0 them, it's so dumb. Kick them off.
Yeah.
Kick them off the team.
We're just gonna have
Get
to. We're gonna have to wait until the bottom 16 to see if they're gonna keep doing it, because both of them are in the bottom 16. And if they keep going with that, someone's getting 30 seconds. It's gonna be sad.
Surely there's no way all the players agree as well. There's no way they're all on the same page. Like, let's keep doing this.
Yeah, because it can't be fun just to
they're
sit
not
there.
Maybe
and
4
lose.
AM. Maybe 4 AM because they make a shit ton in
They
salary
don't
and they're
care.
winning it.
Yeah.
Plus,
And
they
they're
also
winning
won
it.
last week.
DA,
so-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't
DA
even know
need
why
to
DA
go
wanted
get a
so
rank
bad
check.
though.
Yeah.
Like their rules, like what do they need? Like I
They get
saw
a
some people
10
trying to
second faster
justify it for
rotate.
like, yeah, but like even if like it's a rotate, even if you have that compound, you're still gonna have to wait for the whole team. It's not like just because you have that one compound that rotates suddenly amazing.
Well,
even
if 4 AM, if 4
yeah, I just
AM
drive as
send
a
a guy to
foreman.
J, exactly, just
Yeah.
go crash him. Just go
go
crash
crash
him.
him.
Like,
It's so
doesn't
You know
make
what's
sense.
gonna happen this bloody week? They're gonna PUBG, of course, are gonna put 4AM and DA in the same four team
Yeah.
lobby.
Oh, that'd be
And
fun.
someone's just gonna land apps and someone's gonna land Snake, and they're not gonna win.
Ronan,
They're just gonna get pinced.
Ronan, I don't know what it is. I said it last week.
The foreshadowing.
You honestly bring up the best segues, and I actually want to marry you for it. but we'll discuss deets later. But you mentioned the 4-team tournament and Flood. Now, like, that's one thing that you may notice is missing from his list of things that he wants to see. A 4-team TPP tournament with 13-minute games. Is there any particular reason why you can imagine Ronan might not want to see that? Because that sounds swell.
That sounds fun. That sounds really fun, to be honest.
Great.
Bit weird that it's TPP. Kind of defeats the whole purpose of the whole tournament, but you know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a typo. Maybe it's a typo. It could be a typo.
Hey,
T and F are pretty close.
Together. I had the players get together and they got their little Discord with all 32 teams and they all play an FPP. That'd be actually hilarious. I will start the movement for that. There's a button. Just press the button.
Yeah, just press the binding to switch perspective.
To disable the keybind for it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's only $60,000.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I actually think that tournament will be entertaining though. Like the whole tournament has been. We won't be able to tell. Like, we don't notice that much.
No, but like, you gotta remember, like, let's say I'm not sure exactly how it works. From what I read, it's a phase 1, and I'm guessing it just shrinks with 4 teams or whatever. So let's just say
it's gonna be a seat swap fest.
I don't
That's
think
what I thought.
Let's just say you're in a shack, like Love Shack, a very small compound with walls. You're just gonna see a team hide behind the walls in TPP until someone gets close. Like, it's TPP. But it'll be cringe.
I also think yeah, hold that thought because I forgot exactly what I was going to say.
Doesn't think much.
Rats. Oh, they're not selling it as a tournament though, because they're calling it the survival event or something like that. And it's like, it frustrates me because I'm like, no, that was what Hesketh put. But I think the PUBG actually announced it and they said it was survival event, 60k up for grabs or something like that. And like at the end of the day, like, if they're not selling it like it's a tournament, it's like, because like everybody knows TPP isn't. You know, there's fucking next to. I'm gonna get abused for saying this, but there's like so much less skill involved in TPP. I feel like, which is why we all play in FPP. It's more competitive, and yeah, you can't be doing that for money in a tournament. I think we've moved beyond that. I think PUBG has evolved beyond the fact to make a tournament run like that. But if it's supposed to be just this like one-off, very special, very funky event. It is what it is at the end of the day.
Its name is PGIS Survival Tournament. Just
tell them. Okay, nah, I've changed my mind. They're not allowed to run it.
Right.
I've changed my mind.
Well,
no tournament in PUBG should be run TPP. It's bullshit.
What we have figured out
change the name.
Is that next week. Don't expect any TPP clips because they ain't happening. They're not
happening.
That's off the card.
I'm not watching.
We ain't doing that.
Boycott it.
I'll watch it. I'll stream it.
I'm sure you will. That's free.
I'll watch it through Insight.
Yeah, that's free content for Insight.
I want viewership for Insight. They're not getting my number. 100%.
Dude, I don't know. Actually,
tune into Insight.
So many viewers on my stream. It's been fun.
Yeah,
I mean, we're gonna start a movement.
Way more enjoyable.
On Reddit.
Start streaming.
On Reddit, we're gonna pump up your stream and we're gonna get you on 5,000 for the event, and PUBG's gonna have 3,000.
Wait,
they're gonna ask you to stop streaming.
Loki, I'm not actually sure if I'm allowed to be restreaming it, but we'll get to that when it happens.
What happens if you're streaming in the
game?
Isn't
dude? Tig is streaming it. Tig streamed it, didn't he? The bottom 16.
They might have asked. I don't know. My motto is you don't ask for permission.
Well, Flood will be allowed. Look at that face. They can't say no to Flood.
I'll be allowed.
Yeah.
I feel like they've already cupped you enough. They're gonna let you have this one.
Yeah, like they have to. And you know what? Even if they don't, it's fine because we have other illicit activities that go down, like gambling on the games where you can throw away all of your channel points for wasting it on thinking that DA might actually win a hot drop for once in their life. Who would do such a thing? Anyway, that's all we've got time for this week. And so we'll be back next week with no TPP clips, but hopefully some fun FPP stuff and a discussion over week 4 of PGIS. So once again, it's been good to have everyone here. Thank you all for sitting in the chat and getting bullied a little bit by Insight for some of you, but for most of you, it's hopefully been fun. And I forgot to look what the Thai word for goodbye is on Google Translate. So Insight, cover me.
I don't know. I know how to say hello.
Do that. That'll do. That's good enough. That's good enough.
Swadikap. I think they just say bye bye. They say bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.
on my own without you, wishing that didn't go. Day two, same again, comes and goes, breaks my heart, no one knew. Didn't wanna go. So out here, I'm all alone. Didn't wanna go. I wanna turn back the time and let you know. Didn't wanna go.